This is the BlueGamer Bluecast. I am Adam Blue, a 30-plus year veteran in playing video games, following the industry. Um, yeah, I need to put that knowledge to good use, and that's why I have this podcast. Ian, JMKLX, that's soon. Wow, that's amazing. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year. But no, for this episode, I wanted to actually talk about some of the best hardware or peripherals that come to gaming this past year, 2023, and then even talk about some of my favorite games I played in 2023 that didn't come out in 2023. This Friday, which is what, the 5th, I guess, I'll be doing the Game of the Year 2023 Spectacular, where I'm going to talk about my top games, and I think it's going to be very different than what most people out there are saying. I'm really surprised how samey a lot of Game of the Year lists are. Not that what we're seeing out there are bad. It's just that there was a lot of really cool, interesting games that weren't like so similar. So yeah, I'll get into that. Let's see. I was trying to watch the GE video and saw you go live. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, do what you want. Watch this, and then you can watch that video later. That video is actually pretty cool. Yeah, so shout out to Ian. Gundam Explained, YouTube. I have a video that went out this morning. Okay, so best gaming stuff this year. In terms of hardware, like supplemental that hardware that makes gaming awesome. It all started, let's see, maybe a little later this year with the ROG Ally. That's something I got for my birthday. This really helped where I was just playing more games at different times. Because I could be anywhere in the house with the ROG Ally. I can play PlayStation games on the ROG Ally. I can play Xbox games on the ROG Ally. Emulators, everything. It's just that all-in-one. I've totally. Where is my ROG Ally? Oh, it's over there. Yeah, I'll leave it over there. No, it's been awesome. And along with that, the other piece of hardware this year, I guess that doesn't really count, because it's been around for a while, but it's that Mocha internet, being able to use my coax cables that are already in the house for wired internet anywhere. So that goes along with the ROG Ally, actually, I think. There's not much else to say about the ROG Ally. I've talked about it a lot. I have some videos on it. On the Gundam Explain channel, I have a video on it. Yeah, so that's that. The other one I want to get to is this. This year has been the year of video game controllers. Here is the Vader 3 Pro. Now, I found a YouTube channel called Gamer Heaven. Very great channel, run by a dude named Kevin. And he pretty much reviews all the controllers. In I gotta say, growing up, third-party controllers were the ones that you gave player to. Or when a friend came over to the house, you'd give them that third-party controller. And it's always kind of been like that. I think I would say the first time third-party controllers actually started being really good is the Scuff controllers, and that's actually fairly recent. But then it just kept going in that direction, and we're seeing all these Chinese manufacturers coming out with good controllers. It's very interesting. It's like they're listening to gamers and then implementing this stuff. And so that Vader 3 Pro happens to be the best. And what's funny about that is on Kevin's channel, Gamer Heaven, he just did Best Controller 2023 awards, and he claimed that Vader 3 Pro is the controller of the year. So I think that's really cool that, like, his scientific approach to looking at game controllers and how to use them in games and the feel and everything really directly related to then how I was using it. And so I'm totally on board with what he's claiming. And I really then appreciate his approach to reviewing these controllers. There's been some other cool controllers, too, that I got, like the Machinike G5 Pro. The problem was it kind of disconnects every once in a while on PC, and then I was just playing it on my Apple Arcade on Apple TV, and I noticed there's stick drift on the right stick, which that is the thing about some of these Chinese third-party controllers is you can get the occasional issue, the quality control issue, but you can return them. So I might have to do that with that. Yeah, I got the GameSir Kaled, which I have right here, which it's a wired controller. This is just a great backup controller to have because it feels good. It has mouse click, on it. It just no trigger stops, but it's still really good triggers. Just nice to have as a backup. Okay, so the other thing that, and you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I didn't take any pictures of it. I'm going to have to log into where I ordered it from. The next gaming hardware peripheral that I think is top of 2023 is a computer case. And I have been for a while looking for a computer case. Here we go. And Jay's Two Cents is a PC gaming YouTuber that will review random stuff, and he will review cases a lot. And I'll like look at the case reviews to see, okay, is this a good one or not? But this one that I'm going to share right now, let me do a screen share. It's the Montech King 95 dual chamber ATX mid tower PC gaming case. What did I pay? It says 119, but I want to say it was a little less. It might have been around that. Like, this is a great price for a case that has everything a premium case needs to have. It tempered glass, super thick glass, and it's curved on that front panel. If you can see, can I make that bigger? This over just a little bit. That front panel is curved glass, and you can just pop it off. Like, I can pop it off right now. In fact, I just popped it off. I love it. It makes it easy if I need to do maintenance. So that's like the main thing about this is being able to have that maintenance at all times that I need. And the way it sets up, so you can see, you can actually have a mesh panel that it shows instead of the glass and have the controller right at the front. But you can also see if you have the glass in the front, what did I say controller? I meant to say fan. Where you see the that side panel instead of the front. I mean, it's really hard to talk about how these work. You can have what would be the front fans on the side, and then on the bottom, I have fans. So I have the side and the bottom sucking in the air, and then I have the back and the top exhausting the heat. And not only has my temps been so much cooler with this case, but also the noise. It barely makes any noise. I love that. And it was so easy to work with because even the back has its own like chamber for putting in the PSU and all the and it's funny, the cable management now when it comes to the power, the stuff for the motherboards, USB stuff, all that stuff is now simplified, easy to use. You know what the cable management issue is nowadays? LEDs. So I have this thing full of LEDs. Let's do some customer images. I mean, look at that. I like how they added that little white globe thing down there. But yeah, I have the whole thing. I even have the ribbon cables, and I have it all synced to like some rainbow pattern. I really like that, like to go all out, you know. Let's see this one. Yeah, that's similar to what mine looks like because I have the 3 at the bottom, 3 at the top, 2 on the side, and the exhaust. This case just blew my mind when I was like, man, I'm going to have to spend 200 plus to get all. I mean, even look at how the breakdown is here, how you can just pull it apart. Even the thumb screws on the back, when you unscrew them, they even stay in place, I guess with a little wire or something, so you're not actually taking off the screw to lose it. Everything about this case is the most amazing case. Like, there's not one thing missing. It's amazing. Amazing case. So yeah, that's pretty case. I was looking at something similar. 2024 is the year I want to start upgrading my PC slowly. Nice. Well, let me know as you go what you're thinking. I'll be curious what stuff you're going to get, Ian, and maybe I can send you some links of stuff I find. But I'm telling you, this case is the best case you can get, especially for the price. I mean, if you're spending 200 plus, you're going to get the same stuff. You're just going to be spending more. It's mind-boggling. I think this company has kind of changed cases. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, when talking about the hardware, peripherals, accessories of 2023, I would say it's hard. Each one of them serve a very specific function. I don't know what's better. This obviously because I'm playing games. I'm like the actual literal action at all times is holding this, and it's so comfortable and it works so good. The trigger stops, everything. this controller is absolutely amazing. But then the ROG Ally, and I mean that controller on the ROG Ally is actually really good too, and I've been able to play it anywhere. And then this case, it's made the airflow better, the temps better in my system, and it's a lot quieter. And just any sort of maintenance I need to do on my PC is so easy, so easy. So that's that. I'll after this video, I'll try to throw the links down in the description for these items because they're awesome. Okay. So what I want to get into now, and again, like I'm doing this show right now. It might be a little short because I'm going to do a show Friday as well. That's going to be the game of the year 2023. But um, what I wanted to move to next real quickly is what I've been playing. Actually, I'm gonna go back to screen share. I usually use Steam or whatever. So a main thing I've been playing this past week is Gun Battle Operation 2. Yeah, I'm kind of always in and out playing it, but I've been playing more with the community. Shout out to Ian, he's in chat because we've been playing also. But over on the Gundam Explained Discord, I've just been jumping in and playing with people more, and I've been having a lot of fun doing that. And it's such a good game, and it actually came out on PC this year. So that could be a contender for Game of the Year, even though it's technically a 5-year-old game, first coming out on PlayStation 4. But it is so good and it's so fun. And then Warhammer 40,000 Bolt Gun. So that was my Christmas game of 2023. I spent Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after playing Bolt Gun, and I think I beat it a few days after Christmas. I like the game a lot, actually. I think, and I might talk about it more in my game of the year because it might be a contender. But just real quick, like if I was to say that there's any downsides to Bolt Gun, it's how they handle the bosses. Because what they do with the bosses is they just make them a giant entity that just is a bullet sponge. And I can understand bosses taking more hits, but I'm like circling the arena. It's very Doom 2016, circling the arena, getting health and ammo and shooting and shooting. And with the bosses, it just like takes forever. And then after a while, I kind of lose the interest and momentum. And then sometimes it might be a matter of a specific hit from a boss or an enemy that just then will insta kill me. And I'm like, all right, so I got to do that again. So I'll just do it again. And what's very interesting, I would typically think this is blasphemous, but I actually don't care, and it just made it more enjoyable for me. In the options in the game, press start, go to options, accessibility, infinite ammo, infinite health. Yes, please. So what I basically did was, if I was at a boss, which has happened twice, that it would just take forever and forever. And I'm like, okay, I want to move on and play the levels, which is the highlight of the game. I would just turn that on, stand in front of the boss, sit there, shoot it, watch it go down so low, and I'm like, oh my god, this is taking forever. Forever. Okay, boss is killed. Next level. Yeah, I did that, but it was for those bosses, they really should have made it where they had phases, so they would have multiple health bars based on the phase of how their attack patterns are. Or make it where these, since they're big, they had weak spots, so it's almost like you had to strategically fight it. But no, it was just a bullet sponge that was just going on forever. The level design and movement is so awesome because each mission seems to be different than the last in terms of like semi-platformy, semi-puzzle, or just like corridor shooters. Like they changed it up so much. It's so good. I kind of wish they, didn't do the boss thing and kind of just gave it more levels. I'm assuming there would have to be an expansion, right? I mean, that was kind of an earlier, I think April or May 2023 release. Maybe if I would think we'd hear if there was an expansion by now. Haven't. But like I remember reading the reviews and people were saying it's a good game, but it just doesn't go all the way. The controls are just a little, and I'm like playing it thinking, no, this for me when it comes to these style of shooters, that is the ultimate. Other than the boss encounters, the controls and everything are perfect. Awesome game. So I play. Oh, yeah, of course I played. Do I have it up here? Dead Island 2. It was on sale on the Epic Store for the holiday, and wow, is that fun. I remember when it first came out, and I was like, I'd like to get around to that, but it's like Epic Store exclusive. I don't know what it would really be like. Dying Light 2, I couldn't really get into that, even though it looked amazing on my machine. But Dead Island 2 looks amazing and plays amazing, and I love when games do this where it's a very focused open world, a very focused sandbox. It's not complete open world. It has linear progression, but it's in like a mechanics-driven environment. It's all about the mechanics around you, whether it's water, fire, electricity. Like you're using that as you're navigating this world. And again, it's a little linear, so it's more fast-paced, more directed. I don't have to like wander around and like, okay, where am I going? What am I doing? It's very direct in where you have to go. And I think it helps the game too, because even the way it's designed, it seems more like a practical simulation of a city area, slightly suburban city area, rather than like how some open world games are made because it's like, well, you can go anywhere, so like it's going to be easy. No, it really is a good idea. I mean, I could be in a road alleyway, and I come to a gate that's locked, and there's really nothing I can do, and I have to turn around. But it's because the game is kind of saying, no, just stay in here. But in real life, you're going to come across that stuff. And just the draw distance too. And I think maybe because it's not completely open world, that helps, because I'll be in some areas where I'm like looking out at LA and it just looks amazing. Like, wow, I'm really in this area that's gone to crap because of all the zombies. So Dead Island 2, I want to have more time with it, but I would almost say that's top 5. It's really that fun. It's crazy. Yeah. So here's another thing. This is going to be more of a rant. So, the Sonic Dream Team came out exclusively on Apple Arcade this year, and I'm like, man, a Sonic game, and it looks good, because Superstars was crap. I'm sorry. And like even after this, I'm like, if people were like raving about Sonic Superstars in their game of the year, I've heard some people say this, and it's like, that means you must really like Sonic. But if you really like Sonic, you would play Sonic Dream Team, and as a Sonic fan, you would know Dream Team is a superior game. But I think it's because it's locked onto the Apple ecosystem, and getting the Apple TV has reminded me how annoying it is to use Apple products. So for one, I haven't signed into my iCloud account or whatever in like 5 years. I go to sign in to set up this Apple TV, and I'm being told I have to unlock it, and then it's like it's going to send an MFA code, this is all practical security measures, to a phone number, but I don't recognize the phone number. And I've had my phone number for a while, and I'm like, okay, at some point, my account must have gotten hacked because I didn't use it for like 5 years. And it has this number I don't recognize. So I contact Apple, and they're pretty much like, there's nothing we can do about it. And on one hand, that's good. That's security. It's like, you need to have things locked down that way. But on the other hand, I've had that issue happen with Google and Microsoft accounts. But Google and Microsoft are more open, so there are other means of verification that you can utilize in order to get your account back. Because with like my Apple account, it needed a verified device, an iPad or iPhone. It needed to be verified by me having a phone number associated with a device. And this comes up again later, trust me. And I'm like, okay, well, if it was Google or Microsoft, they have authenticator apps that can be downloaded on any device. It could be an Android device. It could be an iPhone device. And within that, there are multiple means of the authentication. It could be through email. It could be through text message. And that's the thing. Apple uses SMS as means of authentication, but that is the least safe way to do it. An app is the way to do it. That's why they do the trusted device. But at the same time, they're expecting you to have an iPhone, an iPad. You can't just use any other sort of device like that, even though I could log into a browser from my iCloud account. It's not user-friendly. Let me just put it, it's not user-friendly. The security just locks people out with no way to get about when other companies can do this. Other companies can do this. So It's pretty disappointing. So I did have to make a whole new account. So made a whole new account, got the Apple Arcade so I can play not only the Sonic game, but they have a Castlevania game that is exclusive to Apple Arcade that's actually really good. I've been playing a lot of that. They have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles roguelike game. It's like Hades, and it's really good and exclusive, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. They have a 007 game I'm gonna play. I haven't tried it yet. And so what's interesting is I wanted to play multiplayer with my son. So my son has an old iPhone that we've just always had. It might have been one that I had used in the past. And that was the other thing that came up. It's like, oh, could it have been because of this phone that the MFA messed up? But it's like, no, because that phone never had a number when I used it other than my phone number with my Apple ID. That's why I feel like my account must have got hacked within the 5 years, but I didn't have anything attached to it, so no one would have, found out about it. But so yeah, with my son, I was like, okay, now we can do multiplayer on this TMNT game. So you have to use Game Center to like add a friend, but you can only do it if you have a trusted device with a phone number. You can't play multiplayer if you don't have a trusted device attached to and trusted device has to be an iPad or iPhone. It can't be the Apple TV. So my son and I can't play multiplayer even though we both have our own Apple devices, but it's because Apple is expecting you to have a phone number tied to it. And why is this bad? For multiple reasons. This is a gaming podcast, but I just want to talk about real quick security-wise what's going on here. Apple is trying to, if you have to associate your phone number to a trusted device, that means it's your primary. And if that's your primary, that's where all your data and information is going to go. Apple wants to make sure they are getting all your data and information. They might seem like they're a little more open, but they didn't want to share details with the FBI because they want to keep all that data for themselves. They are, because you have to have a phone number tied to it, that way they get exclusive access to it. Because for someone that's just using a device that they don't attach their phone number, I don't want to have to attach my phone number to every device I'm using, and you can't do that anyway. You have to pick one device. So the fact that they're doing that, oh, I like what you're saying. Apple looks a little to 1984. The irony, yeah, that Gemkill that's a good one. That's exactly what's going on here. They are locking you down. You have to use their cell, because if you're using a phone number on a device, that's going to be your primary means for searching, for getting calls, for making calls, for doing your daily activities, so they can collect your daily activity information. My Apple TV doesn't have my phone number on it. I just use it to play games, so they're going to get very little information out of me. So because I am not giving them information, they're not going to let me use special features. This just proves yet again how Apple's means of account stuff is just so backwards. Like all this oh man, yesterday when I was on the Apple TV, it required me to have a credit card payment method, obviously, to get Apple Arcade, but it says you have to download iTunes on a PC or Mac to put in your information. I'm like, what? So I went to my PC, downloaded iTunes. I hate iTunes. It's a system hog, a resource hog. And so I put in my information, hit OK, and they said, error, contact support, there's an issue. And I'm like, what? It's like, I don't want to jump through all these hoops. And I was so mad that I just hit OK again out of just like, and then it went through. And I'm like, okay, there's an example of a bug that happens so easily with Apple stuff. So anyway, I hate to get on this, but it's always been this way with Apple. And this just proves even more with having the Apple Arcade. It's just sad because the Apple Arcade games are cool. It's interesting that they're exclusive, but I'm interested to see what more comes out. I mean, and here's the thing. These aren't, mechanically speaking, these aren't like super deep games, but they're very fun games. And it's interesting to see the effort. Like the Castlevania game does everything I want in a Castlevania. It plays like Dead Cells. Like, I would say, yeah, it goes almost in the direction of Dead Cells, but scaling, but more accessible, because it's more like level based instead of like run. I mean, every level's a run, but instead of like a lasting run where you go a while and then you might die, it's more here's a level, here's a level, here's a level. Now, on the other hand, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games is more like a run, like a Dead Cells, where it is a run. You start from the beginning, but every time you die, then you have upgrades for the turtles, and then you have all the turtles to use. But I'm just focusing on one for now. So yeah, Castlevania game, and the music in the Castlevania game, amazing. Love Castlevania music; it delivers. Yeah, TMNT game is excellent, excellent. And then the Sonic game is good. It's very interesting because it almost plays like Sonic Adventure in terms of, or it's really focused on that 3D Sonic, like where you're going through the thing real fast, but then like there's certain sections that will stop and it's like you can actually explore here and maybe try to get something. And then you go back with other characters to use their abilities to get other things in the level you can't get with Sonic. So, shocked how good that Sonic game is. Better than Sonic Superstars. That's for sure. Okay, and then let's see, what else? Because again, this might be a little bit of a shorter episode. I think that's about it. I think that does it for today's, a little short 30-minute just to talk about the best hardware, the games I've been playing this week. But yeah, come back next Friday. I'm going to do the Game of the Year 2023. Probably my top 5 games and some runner-ups. I think it's going to be completely different than most people's lists. And not that I'm trying to be different, but I'm just kind of surprised how many people just are saying, oh, Resident Evil 4, which, not to bash Resident Evil 4, but it's really just a remake that kind of strips a little bit of the atmosphere and makes it just very modern Control-like. And it doesn't really do anything new or different, but someone could, and that's the thing, someone could just have so much fun with that game that's how they see it. And so I don't want to knock people that, have fun in that. But I like to look at games as what is something that I had a lot of fun with and what does it do new and different. So stay tuned for that next Friday. But yeah, thanks Ian and JMKLX for being in here and watching. That's it for, this episode of BlueGamer Bluecast. I will talk to you all later.